They never told you this. The biggest shifts of your life won't come with fireworks or dramatic music. They'll arrive as confusion, silence, and stillness. The most powerful transformations don't announce themselves with celebration. They arrive with a quiet realization that something no longer fits. You look around and feel like you've outgrown the frequency of your current life. The walls aren't wrong, they're just built from expired versions of you. And then, somewhere deep inside, you hear a whisper. It's time to jump. Not physically, not symbolically, quantumly. Most think quantum jumping is just a metaphor, poetic way of saying, change your mindset, or imagine a better future. But what if it's not a metaphor at all? What if, just like in quantum physics, it's a real, measurable shift? An energetic relocation so precise, so immediate, that the change happens without passing through the steps in between? In physics, it's called a discontinuous transition. An electron doesn't travel from one orbit to another, disappears from one, and appears instantly in the next when it absorbs enough energy. That's not poetry. That's science. And what if you, as a vibrational being entangled with infinite timelines, work the same way? What if every kamambas urge to let go, every deep desire to walk away, wasn't restlessness at all, but your field preparing for a second jump? The problem? Most people don't listen. They rationalize. They wait. They calculate the cost of change while their soul has already left the old reality. The mind struggles to catch up to the decision the heart already made. That's why transformation feels chaotic, because you're resisting a leap that's already in motion. Here's the truth. Quantum jumps don't need logic. They don't require explanation. They require coherence, alignment, a decision that vibrates louder than fear. That's when the field responds. That's when the jump locks in. And you felt it before, the day you ended a relationship and felt 10 years lighter. The moment you quit a job, and the air itself felt different. The instant you stopped explaining yourself, and the world first went silent, then answered with miracles. Those weren't gradual changes. They were leaps. Not in your schedule, but in your signal. The reason you didn't see instant proof, not because nothing happened, but because the field was reorganizing itself around your new coordinates. Because that's how it works. The moment you choose, not wish, not hope, but choose a new state of being, the field begins rearranging. But here's where most people lose it. They abort the flow, jump too soon. When nothing changes immediately in the 3D world, doubt creeps in. They revert to the old frequency, and the new timeline collapses. The twist? Quantum jumping doesn't require belief. It requires broadcast. You don't need to convince yourself it's real. You just have to stop sending out the signal of who you used to be. And that's where this journey begins. Because over the next few moments, you'll see why quantum jumping is not just a metaphor, it's a process, a science, a strategy of vibrational precision. When you learn to engage it deliberately without waiting for life to force your hand, you stop reacting to circumstances. You start selecting them. So for now, don't try to understand it all. Just stay. Listen. Notice what shifts. Because if something already feels different in your body right now, you might already be mid-jump. And here's the first rule. You can't jump while holding on. Jumping isn't about getting something new. It's about becoming someone new. And that means letting go completely of what no longer vibrates with you. Thoughts, habits, personas, timelines, stories. Not in pieces, but fully, energetically. You cannot broadcast the frequency of your future while still entangled in the emotions of your past. The field can't respond to two signals at once. And it doesn't answer the loudest voice. It answers the clearest one. This is where quantum mechanics meets identity, psychology. In the quantum field, all possibilities already exist as potential. You don't create the new timeline. You access it. And the key is not in doing more, pushing harder, or visualizing longer. When you stopped explaining, yourself and the world first met you with silence, then answered with miracles. Those were not gradual shifts. They were leaps. Not marked on your calendar, but embedded in your signal. And the reason you didn't see instant proof wasn't because nothing had happened. It was because the field was still reorganizing itself around your new coordinates. Here's how it really works. The moment you choose, wish, not hope, but choose, a new state of being, the field starts rearranging. Yet most people cut the jump short. They get anxious when the 3D world doesn't change right away. They doubt. They slip back. And the timeline collapses into the familiar. Here's the twist. Quantum jumping doesn't demand belief. It demands broadcast. You don't have to convince yourself it's real. You only need to stop sending the signal of who you used to be, boy. That's what this is about. Over the next few moments, you'll see that quantum jumping is not a metaphor. It's a process, a science, a strategy of vibrational precision. When you learn to engage it on purpose, without waiting for life to shove you, you stop reacting to circumstances and start selecting them. So for now, don't force yourself to understand for detail. Just stay. Watch what unfolds. Because if something already feels different in your body, you might already be mid-jump. Rule 1. You can't jump while holding on. Jumping isn't about getting something new. It's about becoming someone new. And that means letting go, fully and energetically, of what no longer vibrates with you. Thoughts, habits, personas, timelines, stories. You can't broadcast the frequency of your future while staying entangled in the emotions of your past. The field can't process two signals at once, and it doesn't respond to the loudest, but to the clearest. Here's where quantum mechanics and identity psychology meet. In the quantum field, all possibilities already exist as potential. You don't create the new timeline, you access it. And the access key isn't doing more, pushing harder, or visualizing longer. It's collapsing the wave of your current self, becoming emotionally and neurologically unavailable for the version of you that built your present reality. That's the paradox. You don't find your new life by fixing the old one. You jump by no longer being the one who needed it fixed. Neuroscience backs this. Identity isn't just a story, it's a network of neural pathways. When you wake up and replay your problems, regrets, or anxieties, you're reactivating the familiar self. That self has a frequency, and that frequency tells the quantum field, keep broadcasting the same. But when you interrupt the loop, when you wake up and ask, what would my future self do right now? And then act as if, without needing proof, you tune into a new frequency. Not pretending, not faking, deciding. Every future is a frequency. Every identity is a code. You don't earn it, you match it. And matching it requires emotional congruence above all else. If you affirm abundance but feel scarcity, the field reflects scarcity. If you visualize success but carry guilt, the field mirrors guilt. That's not failure, it's feedback. The universe isn't judging you. It's calibrating to you. So ask yourself, what are you still emotionally rehearsing that belongs to the self you're leaving behind? Worry? People-pleasing? Hiding? These aren't just habits. They're frequencies that keep you tied to the timeline you say you want to leave. Collapsing identity means stopping the rehearsal. And you don't need 30 days, 21 steps, or a full moon ritual. You need a moment of complete, energetic honesty, looking at the version of you addicted to the old story and saying, I love you, but I no longer choose you. That's the split. That's the jump. That's the shift the field responds to. Because the field is always scanning for one thing, coherence. Not perfection. Not hype. Coherence. A state where thoughts, feelings, actions, and beliefs all match the frequency of the life you claim to want. When you hit that note, even for a second, the quantum field locks in. And something strange happens. The need to prove, push to get, disappears. You feel clear, neutral. And that neutrality isn't detachment. It's the evidence that your old identity has gone offline. Sometimes transformation feels boring because without the drama of doubt and the friction of duality, there's just presence. And presence is power. You're no longer waiting for the shift. You're no longer becoming the cell. You are the cell. And when you hold that, without blinking, without reverting just because the evidence hasn't shown up, yet the mirror of reality has no choice but to reflect it back. That's the difference between a quantum jumper and a quantum wisher. One sends the signal and stays in it. The other sends the signal, waits for proof and collapses when it doesn't come fast enough. But that's not you. Because by the time you finish this, you'll know how to hold the frequency, drop the doubt, and collapse the self that can't follow you into your next reality. This isn't about metaphysics, it's about memory. Remembering the version of you that already exists and choosing to live from there. In the next part, I'll show you exactly how to make that choice stick. Not with more information, but with a protocol for the moments when your mind spirals, your body panics, and your old identity tries to pull you back. Let's set the record straight. Quantum jumping isn't a single decision. It's a sequence, a daily vibrational ritual, a repeated act of dissolving the illusion that you are fixed, limited, or running out of time. There are 5 energetic postures, not linear steps, not forced actions, that allow you to become the version of you who already exists in the timeline you've been chasing. The broadcast shift. Step 1. Recognize discomfort as a signal, not failure. When the old self resurfaces, fear, self-doubt, hesitation, don't judge it. Don't resist it. Recognize it as a sign you're standing at the threshold of the jump. In quantum terms, discomfort is energetic, interference, static between the frequency you've been living and the one you're tuning into. The mistake most people make? They interpret the static as a no when it's actually a recalibration. Step 2. Interrupt the emotional pattern immediately. When an old emotion shows up, the body wants to take the familiar path. The old story. The power move? Interrupt the broadcast. Change your posture. Change your breath. Speak out loud. Move your body. Neuroscience confirms pattern interruption disrupts neural coherence and opens a space for a new choice. Step 3. Embody the frequency of the timeline you want. This is the jump point. Ask, if I already had what I wanted, how would I feel? Then let that feeling take over your nervous system, not as pretending, not as daydreaming, but as being. Even 90 seconds of coherence can shift your field. The quantum doesn't measure the picture, it measures the signal. Step 4. Take one action from the new identity. Quantum. Jumping isn't sitting in silence waiting for proof. It's acting from your new broadcast. Not to get something, but to demonstrate the shift. Send the message. Hold the boundary. Speak the truth. Take even a small step that matches the identity you've stepped into. This creates entanglement. The field now has something to mirror back. Step 5. Detach from the timeline. Stay in the vibration without scanning for proof. The moment you start looking for results, you've stepped back into fear. Real jumping means especially holding the signal when nothing has changed yet, because that's when the field is listening most. Try this tomorrow morning. By waking, sit upright. Before touching your phone, ask, which version of me am I choosing to broadcast today? Close your eyes. Breathe. Let the answer come, not in words, but in posture, breath, and energy. Hold that frequency for 2 minutes. Move into your day as if only that version of you exists, speaking and acting and responding from it. When you become the new signal completely, reality stops resisting. You're no longer a receiver waiting for confirmation. You're a transmitter generating it. Why most people collapse the jump without realizing it? It's not because they don't want it enough. It's because they misunderstand energetic sabotage. They think doubt is harmless. They think checking for results is normal. But every time they ask, is it working? They collapse the broadcast and fall back into the orbit of the old self. In physics, the observer effect says that measuring a particle changes its state. In transformation, doubting your shift changes its frequency. This isn't about being positive 24/7. It's about not interrupting the new signal with the old identities. Fear. Here's the cycle. You declare a new self. You feel it. You act from it. The field starts responding. Silence. No proof yet. Old programming kicks in. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe did it wrong. Frequency collapses. Not because it wasn't real, but because you stopped broadcasting it. The quantum can only mirror what you sustain. That's why emotional mastery is key. Not suppression, awareness. Feel doubt? Name it. Don't become it. Feel impatience? Observe it. Don't feed it. Catch yourself scanning for signs? Pause. Return to signal. Every emotion is a frequency. The field isn't personal, it's mechanical. It doesn't punish fear, it just reflects it. So the real question isn't, how do I stop feeling this or it's which feeling will I choose to embody even when this one shows up? That's how you anchor the jump. Not by waiting to feel ready, but by practicing the signal until it becomes your nervous system's default setting. Here's your rewritten version in smooth, US native English, keeping all meaning and detail intact, but making the flow even more natural and engaging for your audience. And here's the paradox. The less you chase the result, the faster it arrives. Why? Because chasing implies separation. Separation implies lack. And lack tells the field, this isn't mine. So when you say, I'll believe it when I see it, you've already lost. But when you say, I believe it, and that's why I'll see it, you've already jumped. That's what it means to choose yourself without proof. To stand behind your new identity, even before the world catches up. To stop waiting for permission to be who you already are. So here's your invitation, not just to watch this content, but to engage with it. Comment below. Choose myself. Say it. Type it. Anchor it. Not for me, not for the algorithm, but for your own coherence. Because that single act, a micro-broadcast of emotional certainty, is exactly what your field has been waiting for. Not action. Not perfection. Alignment. Alignment that says, I don't need to be convinced. I'm already there. This is how timelines stabilize. Not through effort, but through repetition of signal. The one who returns to the vibration fastest, no matter what shows up, is the one who shifts reality first. That could be you. So what happens when the field begins to respond? When your sustained broadcast becomes so precise that the quantum field has no choice but to reflect it? It begins with chaos, silence, and reorganization. Here's what most people aren't told. Your new frequency doesn't just attract what you want. It repels what no longer matches. And at first, that can feel like loss, like confusion, like everything is falling apart right when you've finally committed to the new version of yourself. This is the paradox of the shift. You jump, and then suddenly your relationships feel distant. Your job feels foreign. Your habits feel toxic. Nothing bad is happening. What's happening is energetic misalignment being exposed. Think of it like this. You were once broadcasting at 93.7 FM, and your entire life, people patterns, opportunities were tuned to that signal. Now you've shifted to 104. You're in the same room, but you're broadcasting something entirely different. Naturally, some things will start to drift. Conversations feel off. Opportunities vanish. The familiar feels hollow. That's not regression. It's resonance correcting itself. In quantum terms, you've changed your vibrational signature, and the field is recalibrating, clearing out everything tied to the old you. It's not rejection, it's realignment. And yes, it can feel lonely. It can feel like a test. It can make you question your choice. But this is the exact moment where reality starts to bend. You're in the void, the sacred in-between where the old timeline has lost its grip and the new one hasn't fully landed. Your job here isn't to react, it's to remain in signal. This is when your nervous system will beg you to go back, to reach for the familiar, to tone it down, slow it down, or second guess. But what most people call tests from the universe are actually echoes, vibrations from your past self bouncing back one last time, asking, are you sure you don't answer with words? You answer with embodiment. You wake up and breathe into your new frequency. You act in ways your old self never would. You stop explaining your evolution to those who demand evidence. You let go, not of people, but of the you who needed their validation. And then something shifts. A message from someone new. An opportunity that didn't exist before. A synchronicity so perfect it makes you laugh through your tears. These aren't coincidences, they're confirmations. Proof that the field has locked in, that your broadcast is now baseline, that you've stopped leaking energy into old stories, It may take days. It may take weeks. But it always happens, because reality isn't random. It's rhythmic. And when you become the rhythm of your next level, your timeline tunes itself to you. So don't fear the silence. Don't interpret the void as failure. Don't mistake the loss of alignment for punishment. See it as what it truly is: a clearing, a vibrational detox, a cosmic vacuum making space for the version of you that has already arrived and is waiting to be received. In the next and final part of this journey, I'll show you how to stay on the new timeline long enough for your breakthrough to become your new normal. Because it's not enough to jump, you must remain. There's a power in the decision no one else sees. A quiet choice you make within before the evidence, before the applause, before the alignment shows up on the outside. That's the real quantum jump. Not the vision board. Not the meditation. But the moment you stop broadcasting lack and start embodying your own frequency with no witness but the field itself. The field is always watching. Not like a judge, but like a mirror. Neutral, infinite. Intelligence that bends to one thing only: your broadcast. And now you know what that broadcast truly is. Not your thoughts. Not your wants. Not your words. It's the vibration you hold when no one is looking. The most powerful frequency you can hold is certainty. Not certainty in an outcome, but certainty in yourself. When you choose yourself again and again, the silence in the unknown, in the waiting room between identities, you send the strongest possible signal. You're saying, "This is who I am, and I don't need proof to be it." That's when the shift becomes real. That's when the new timeline finally lands, not because you chased it, but because you matched it. From that point on, reality stops being a condition. It becomes a confirmation, an echo of the version of you that already exists, now made visible. So stop looking for results. Look for resonance. Don't ask, "Is it working?" Ask, "Am I broadcasting my future or rehearsing my past?" That one question will collapse illusions, dissolve timelines, and retire old selves in a single breath. Because when you stop seeking the shift and start being the shift, everything reorganizes around you. And it won't be loud or dramatic. It will be subtle, elegant, inevitable. A friend who appears at the exact moment you stop needing one. An idea that surfaces when you stop forcing answers. An opportunity that makes no logical sense, not every energetic sense. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's the quantum field whispering back, message. Received. If something stirred in you while hearing this, if something clicked, shifted, or resonated in a way you can't quite explain, that's your field moving. That's coherence rising. That's your new timeline opening. So here's what I want you to do next. Nothing drastic, nothing big. Take one small step from this frequency. Maybe it's writing down the version of you you're broadcasting now. Maybe it's deleting something that no longer matches. Maybe it's sitting in stillness as your future self for just 60 seconds longer. Whatever it is, let it come from certainty. And if you want to keep reinforcing this frequency, to keep aligning with your expansion, coherence, and quantum evolution, stay with us. Not just to subscribe, but to tune in. This isn't just a channel, it's a transmission. Every time you return here, you're not just watching a video, you're fortifying your signal. If this resonates, if you're done waiting for proof, if you're ready to embody the truth you've always felt deep inside, Subscribe now. In this field, you choose yourself again and again and again until the universe has no choice but to respond. Do you want me to also make a shortened copy-ready script version of this so you can paste it directly into your YouTube editor without extra formatting? That way you can keep the full flow, but make it upload ready in seconds.